It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, you know what? It looks like our buddy, Carl Icahn, sent out that letter to the HP shareholders telling them their board is delusional, telling them their board is beyond defying logic by not merging with Xerox. And I got to tell you something. I believe Carl's on to something. Sometimes you got to go back in time a little bit to really get your head around this story. But you know, back in, let's see if I can find that. Here we go. Back in June of 2019, you can Google it, Xerox and HP formed an alliance. And that alliance was specifically to allow the Xerox distribution channel that they control, their own sales army out there in the marketplace, to sell DOS, devices of service, to sell the HP compute equipment to their customers. Because they admitted we don't have distribution that we control. We don't have our own feet on the streets like you do, Xerox, and we think there's some synergies there. So we should have this alliance. Well, in all reality, that's when they should have sent the letter to Xerox saying we want to buy you. But they weren't big enough and bold enough in their thinking. They couldn't imagine what could be possible. And I think Carl's right. A lot of this hinges around insecurities with leadership. We all know that. HP, think about this. HP, since 2016, 2017, been running around the world trying to get dealers to sell their products in that BTA style channel, that dealer channel where they sell the products and they service them. They tried and tried and tried. They failed miserably at this. Yeah, there's a few dealers that are selling HP, but for the most part, it's been a miserable failure. They're out there writing checks to dealers to do things, trying to promote them. Hey, you know what? We'll be a better friend than Ricoh or Xerox or Konica. Sign up with us. Guess what? The dealers just kept saying, no, we're not going to do it. So then they formed this alliance with Xerox, which gives them feet on the street, helps them sell their compute. Xerox is already selling their A4 products, the Samsung line. Xerox has millions of HP printers that they have service contracts on in their managed print services program. And guess what? Now they're putting OEM HP toner in those printers. That alone costs the remanufacturing industry some serious pain. And now that Xerox is saying, let's just cut the crap out and get together, do this right. We don't need to form strategic alliances. We need to be the strategic alliance that disrupts the market. But of course, HP's out there saying they're going to disrupt the market by selling a bunch of A3 copiers when the whole world is going to go to A4. So here's what I think you ought to do, Carl. You ought to send another letter to the HP board and tell them this. Tell them we're not gonna sell your compute equipment anymore. We're gonna call Lenovo, who's bigger than you in compute, and we're gonna start selling their stuff. And then call up the board and say, hey, we're not gonna sell your Samsung A4s anymore. We're gonna call Ray's friends at Lexmark and start selling Lexmark. Form new alliances. You don't need HP. Go form new alliances. Build a coalition with new partners. And then go shove a hose down HP's throat when they start to drown from their stubbornness. HP, this is the moment in your history that will define you as an organization. And it'll also define your leaderships. If you really want to be bold, if you really want to go into the market and change things, what better partner to have than Xerox? You guys would own the space. Of course, I'm not letting Xerox off the hook. Loading up a bunch of copiers with a bunch of apps is not going to get you there. What's going to get you there is understanding what the customer really wants, understanding how the customer really wants to finance equipment in the future, and delivering the future to the present with the combined forces of HP. You could do it, but it's going to take a whole lot of work. It's going to take a whole lot of selfishness to evacuate the executive suites in both of those corporations. It's going to take people that have a mindset to look at the future and deliver it regardless of how painful that future is to current circumstances. Because none of this industry is going to change, nothing's going to be shaken up until someone shakes it up. And you got to admit, and I've been showing the picture of my friend, Carl all the time, but I got to tell you something, folks. Where's that picture at? We got to give John Visentin some credit. I mean, this guy's running a company. He's bold. He's taking bold actions. I would admit he could be a little more colorful, maybe. You know, he could be a little bit more pepped up. But at the end of the day, he's running a fine organization. He's taking Xerox into a new direction. And Carl commented that, you know, HP's basically they're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. And I made a comment on top of that that said, you know, what Xerox wants to do is they want to turn the whole ship into a relevant direction. And I truly believe they do. And I see HP as being stubborn and not understanding the true benefits of that merger. Because this merger is good for the whole industry. We got to have consolidation. We really do have to have consolidation. You know what? You know, Fuji Xerox is an $11 billion company. They might be watching all this and they might say, hell, let's us go buy HP. Folks, you don't know where this is going to go, but right now, you got two American icons trying to come together, and this will help the industry. But I got to tell you, Carl, don't be too patient, because my friends over there at Lexmark would love to sell you their A4s to spread through your entire distribution channel, to wipe out all those HP printers with Lexmark printers. They'd love to do it. Lenovo would love to work with your sales team to give you some compute to sell up and down the street. So my friends, HP is not the only answer for Xerox. It's probably the right answer, and it's also the right answer for both of the company's shareholders, and I'm with Carl on that. Well, regardless of what happens, you got to admit, the imaging channel is definitely getting shooken up a little bit. As I predicted, 2020 is going to be a fun time for the imaging channel. I'll end my time with this: status quo is the killer of all that will be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo and have a fantastic day, my friends. I'll see you all tomorrow.